Well, the contentious issue of land expropriation without compensation comes before Parliament today. Members of the NA, the National Assembly, are going to debate and vote on whether the Constitution should be amended. So which way does it look like this is going to go? Remembering a lot of political interests with very different views going to be weighing in on this one. So let's bring into the conversation. Always good to have political analyst Lukhanya Vanqa joining us this morning. Lukhanya, morning. Good to have you with us on the South African morning, and it looks like this is going to be very much an EFF versus ANC. They both agree on the land issue. The issue is without expropriation, and then we also have to bring in the question of state-owned land as well. This is a complicated one, isn't it?
Yes, Gareth, it's very complicated. The ANC and the EFF seem to agree on the issue of land expropriation without compensation. Where they disagree is who then becomes the custodian of the land. The EFF wants state custodianship over the land, while the ANC prefers a hybrid model where some land is under state custodianship, some is under private ownership, and some remains within the traditional leadership structures. So that's where the biggest contention comes in. And it seems like today it's going to be ANC versus EFF to see whether the EFF is going to, join the ANC in support of the motion, because without the EFF, the motion is dead in the water. It won't be able to master the 66.6% that's needed for that constitutional amendment. So without the EFF today, this motion will fail on that parliamentary floor.
And let's just talk about the EFF and the ANC in particular here as well, Lukhanya, because a lot of people obviously will credit the EFF for bringing land expropriation back into the conversation, but also the EFF have been critical of the ANC, saying this has actually been part of your policies for a very, very long time, and you have done nothing about it. So that's why it seems the EFF are now going to try and run with this, aren't they?
And they're quite correct that land expropriation without compensation has been a policy position of the ANC since Mangawong, which was about 9 years ago. It was reaffirmed at the NASREC conference in 2017. So the EFF is quite right about that. And the EFF were the ones that, brought this matter to the fore. They were the ones that introduced the parliamentary debate, the motion in Parliament in 2018 that was voted upon 3 years ago. And with overwhelming support, I might say, I think they were able to get about 78% of the National Assembly to support this constitutional amendment or the motion to amend the Constitution. So the EFF has really brought it this far, and somehow has seemed to have now abandoned the process because they've not attended 4 of the last committee meetings on land on the constitutional amendment. Because of this problem that they have with the ANC with regards to who then takes custodianship of the land. And I feel that's a rather unfortunate thing to have happened, because today was supposed to be a very monumental day in the history of this country, where the years of the resistance war, the land dispossession wars was going to come full circle now, where land is expropriated and is restored back to the rightful owners of that particular land. So it's really an unfortunate situation where the EFF and the ANC can't seem to be able to work out their differences, which I would call petty differences, because the greater good of this country needs both of them to work together.
Well, I was about to ask as a final question to you, time slightly against us, Lukhanya. Let's call it, because we're all still using elections lingo for a moment. We're talking ANC and EFF. Is there an expropriation coalition that you see being formed in Parliament today, before I say goodbye to you, that will either go with the EFF or the ANC to push this through for their varied views on the issue?
Unfortunately, there isn't. The ANC was the only party to vote for this bill in the committee, so the ANC is absolutely on their own on this one. They don't have the EFF, they don't have the IFP, they don't seem to have anyone else that supports them on this bill. So this bill is dead in the water. There is no coalition that is going to take it over the line. And unfortunately, that's a very unfortunate situation, unless the EFF proposes an amendment on the floor and see if they can be able to push that through. Maybe some things can change, but as things stand, this bill is not going to pass. This amendment will not pass.
It's very much the ANC versus the EFF. Always good to have you on ENCA, political analyst Lukhanya Vanqa joining us on the South African Morning.